Well, Bud Light is trying to save face over the transgender nonsense that happened back in April. It says Bud Light, Budweiser packaging to get redesigned over Mulvaney crisis. Anheuser-Busch plans to temporarily redesign some of its Bud Light and Budweiser packaging as it scrambles to recover from the Mulvaney fiasco, the Post has learned. Last week, the company held a meeting at its U.S. headquarters in St. Louis with its distributors to discuss its strategy for dealing with the backlash. Among the new initiatives planned is a temporary redesign of the Budweiser and Bud Light aluminum bottles, according to a distributor who did not want to be identified. They will produce bottles with a camouflage print and images of the Folds of Honor program, which provides educational scholarships for children and spouses of fallen and disabled American military service members and first responders, according to the executive. It's an aluminum bottle, the source told the Post. I believe it is the only package that will be transitioning. Get it? Transitioning. But I am not 100% certain on that. Here's the Folds of Honor symbol here. This is a great program, but they are trying to capitalize on this or trying to switch and save face because they have done immense damage to their product, to their sales and everything. We'll get into that in a second. The conservative outcry began when Mulvaney, who has more than 10 million followers on social media, revealed that the beer company sent packages of Bud Light featuring her face, its face, as a way to celebrate its first 4 years as an all-out proud trans woman. The temporary redesign will be part of Anheuser-Busch efforts to invest heavily in the brand this spring and summer, as the Post reported. The company kicked off its blitz during the NFL draft at the end of April. At some New York grocery store this weekend, the company offered customers a free T-shirt with the logo Ultra Mom for anyone who bought Michelob Ultra products. Other likely marketing strategies experts speculate include discounting beer at retail stores and investing heavily in sports marketing and incorporating the U.S. military and country and Western music, farmers, law enforcement, and first responders into their advertising. As reported by the Post, nationwide retail sales of Bud Light sales dropped 23.6% versus a year ago during the week ended May 6th. Slightly worse than the 23.3% decline for the week of April 29th. Wow. Sales of other Anheuser-Busch brands also continue to drop, although at a slower pace than the week before. Those included Budweiser down almost 10%, 9.7 versus 11.4 the week before. Michelob Ultra down 2.9 versus 4.3, and Natural Light down 2.5 versus 5.2. Meanwhile, rival beer brands against Bud Light, the number one beer in the U.S. generating revenue of $4.8 billion last year, are grabbing market share at a faster clip as Anheuser-Busch grapples with the fallout over its ill-fated tie-up with the transgender influence that launched April 1st. Now, as we see, they're wanting to invest, they're trying to transition in no pun intended, and invest heavily in sports marketing, incorporating the U.S. military, country and Western music, law enforcement, and farmers. These are very American things right here. This is where they should have kept their focus in the beginning, not straying away and going to transgender nonsense. Look, like I said before, I don't have a problem with gay people, transgender people. They can do what they want to do in their private lives. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But I've said in the past, it becomes a problem when you start shoving it down people's throats. I guarantee you, a majority of the population does not agree with this. They don't want this. Look, I'm sure a lot of people don't have an issue with transgender people, as I don't. But I guarantee a large amount of people in the country do not want it put in their sports, their beer, or anything else they want to do that gets them away from the troubles that we're facing in America, or anything like that. With the transgender nonsense in our schools and these kids being having these drag queens story time shoved down their throats. We're trying to push back against that and let kids be kids. So people don't want to see this in their beer. When they open up a can of beer, they don't want to see it at home when they're watching the game. This right here, this is where it's at. Sports, military, Western music, farmers, law enforcement, first responders. These are the things that help define America. We love our first responders, at least except for the woke left. We love our military. We love police officers. We love firefighters. We have great respect, and we love our uh, nurses and doctors, and the EMTs, the paramedics. We have great respect for these people. So why don't we celebrate these people? Why don't we market and target these American things, these things that we love? Farmers, we have great respect for farmers for doing the job that they do, bringing food to us to our tables, growing the food for us. This is where it's at. Now, Bud Light should have done this a long time ago. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work. The thing is, a lot of people have just tossed them to the side. Now, I give them credit for recognizing what they did. I give them a lot of credit for that and not doubling down and pivoting. So this is proof right here that your boycotting worked, has worked. Look, I don't like Bud Light. I haven't been drinking Bud Light in a long time, in years. But the fact that people are so fed up with this nonsense and you voted with your wallet and decide to go elsewhere. Now, look, Miller Lite has jumped on this. They didn't learn the lesson either. They didn't learn from what happened to Bud Light. But this is what happens when you put your foot down, you vote with your wallet, and you say enough is enough. They're trying to change course. They're trying to win you back over. I don't drink Bud Light like I said, but it's up to you if you're going to forgive them and welcome them back into your home. Yeah, I don't know, or if this is going to damage them permanently. This move back in April, they realized they made a mistake, and they're trying to change course, like I said, by going the more Americano route. Look, I'm not saying that these companies have to be um, super right leaning, but just things that Americans love. You don't have to be a Democrat or Republican to love the flag or love, of the military. Look, back in the day before this, we got so divided, you didn't know what people were. You feel like the general consensus was that people respected the military and they respected law enforcement and they loved how going to the game, having a beer, sitting down together at a bar, watching the game, just having a good time. There was no divide. I mean, if we had some, but we didn't have such a divide where law enforcement or the military was so controversial. You didn't have that, you know, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Everybody seemed to get along for the most part. You had gay people, you had trans people. They did their thing. They had their own community, but it wasn't shoved down our throats. And I want to get back to that. I want to get back to that one day. It doesn't matter if you're a liberal, conservative. Just want to have a good time, enjoy life, go to work, pay your bills. People take care of their families, go out to a ball game, have a nice beer, and have a good time. That's what life should be about. It shouldn't be about this divide. Yes, you go to the polls, you vote for the best candidate that you think best suits your needs or was best for the country. But I want to get away from this divide that we're seeing, where there's pretty much no middle ground. You're either right or left. You're conservative, and now it seems like if you are patriotic, it seems like you're only a Republican now. It seems like Democrats no longer patriotic. I don't know. It's crazy. Like you saw after 9/11, you saw the country come together. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. We came together as one and we loved our country. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. How companies just need to focus on. He says he doesn't think that there should be celebrities inside of these ads. Just like when you go to a movie theater, you see the Coke pouring, and it sounds really good pouring over the ice, and then you have the popcorn popping. It makes you want to get up and get some, you know. I'm not a soda drinker, but that does sound very refreshing when you hear that soda, that can opening up and pouring over the ice. But see, these things like this are great. It's no, you don't have a celebrity coming trying to sell things to you or persuade you. You just have the product itself selling itself. That's it. I can see where he's coming from. I don't agree or disagree on whether there should or shouldn't be celebrities in ads. I think because they do have great influence. But he makes a great point. For the business, they have these celebrities have great influence for the business. It's good because you can kind of persuade people to buy your products if you have a someone who has a big following. But I see his point where you let the product sell itself. You don't put any celebrities, no controversial figures in them. You just let the product do its thing. But what do you think? Will Bud Light win you over? Do they have your support? Again, it's not up to me to decide this. You have to make your own decision. I don't drink this stuff anymore, the Bud Light at least. So I've canceled them a long time ago. But if you were a Bud Light drinker or a Budweiser drinker, are you going to forgive them? How much longer will it take? Are you completely done? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care.